All right, well, good Sunday night, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is October 8th, 2023, 10:23 p.m., and it is Victory Sunday and Victory Monday for the New York Jets and the New York Jet fans. A big win today in Denver, a win they needed to have, a win that I'd say 50% of the game was sloppy. Um, just uh, just a lot of penalties, a lot of third and longs that they gave up on. But in the end, the defense came through, special teams came through, or through, I should say. Um, Offense put points on the board, and the Jets come out of Denver with a win. They're 2-3, and just some quick recaps. And I'm not going to go through every portion of the game, but quick recaps. To start off, first of all, um, the Jets had their first lead in a game this year, other than when they won the game in overtime against the Bills. It goes back to the first quarter of the game against Jacksonville on that Thursday night rainy mess at MetLife last year. They have not held a lead in a game since then. This year they were behind and then tied the game with Buffalo, took the lead and the win in overtime. And then, of course, they didn't have a lead in Dallas, didn't have a lead against the Patriots. And then last week, they did not have a lead against the Chiefs. It was, either a tie or losing. Today, they get the ball first. They go basically 3 and out. They netted, I think, -6 yards on the first drive because it was a loss of 1, a loss of 6, and then they picked up 9 or whatever. They punt. They then pick up a fumble on the punt. And they get into the red zone and they can't score. And that was basically the theme of the day. Greg Zuerlein had 5 field goals. So if you had him in fantasy, he lit it up for you today. The lead was short-lived as the Broncos took the ball on their second drive. And again, penalties, third and longs, quarterback scrambling, and then basically a nice run up the sideline by their running back. I can't remember his name, McLeod, McLovin, whatever you want to call him. And they took a 7-3 lead. Then it kind of like the things changed. Special teams pinned Denver deep. They got a safety, second safety in as many weeks. What are the odds of that? I wish there was odds on one of the apps for that. But they got a safety. Again, Greg Zuerlein kicks a field goal. Where I say the game was sloppy, and I'm going to take away, first of all, the roughing the passer calls that seem to go for the other teams, the illegal hands to the face or holding or whatever, defensive holding, whatever. The biggest, sloppiest part of the game, which almost came back and bit them, was Zach finally got into a rhythm. And once they got in the red zone, they couldn't punch it in. They did not score a touchdown from the red zone all day. They were in the red zone, I think 4 out of 5 field goal tries. Okay? Gets into a rhythm. He gets a 2-minute drill going before the half, and he's getting the ball down the field. And he's hitting Lazard, and he hits Wilson, and he hits Conklin, and he hits this one, and hits that one. And he hits Uzoma, whatever the heck his name is, with no timeouts left, 10 seconds left on the clock before the half, on like the 13-yard line. And the tight end picks up the ball, he sprints back, and the offensive line and the wide receivers and the quarterback, and there's no anticipation, there's no hustle, there's no urgency, and they can't spike the ball, and they can't get the field goal off, and they miss out on an apparent 3 points. Okay? That could have came back to haunt them. That could have been the difference in the game. Unfortunately, that is things that come from the coaching and from the quarterback. Now, I read, that's all coaching. Listen, yes, coach needs to let you know. Listen, if and it's your offensive coordinator, it's your head coach. If the pass is not going, if you're not going to go out of bounds, you have to hurry up to the line. The pass should be to the sideline. He went to the sideline. He just didn't go far enough into the sideline to get him out of bounds. Okay, maybe take a shot at the end zone, but they went with the safer play, but it wound up costing probably 3 points. Zach, as a leader, needs to be yelling, get up to the line, get up to the line, clock, clock, clock. Didn't do that. Okay, that could have been 3 points. When I say special teams played a hand, the Jets got a fumble on a punt. The Jets also fumbled the punt. Gibson fumbled the punt. And listen, he's allowed to make that mistake. It's going to happen. He's going to make more positive plays than negative plays, but it happened today. These were two teams that there was a reason why their record was 1-3. Breece Hall is back. One play, 10 seconds, 78-yard touchdown. I mean, Breece Hall was back. He, at that point, I think, turned the game around a little bit. Defense was all over Russell Wilson when he could get a chance. And it was a tale of not even quarters, but drives. There were drives where Zach Wilson looked so comfortable in the pocket, even when he rolled out, hitting, medium passes, nothing too crazy, but medium passes. And then there were times where, he couldn't hit his running back out of the backfield. It went back and forth, and again, clock management and I think play calling was huge. Basically, first of all, again, Boomer Esiason says that the NHL has a screw to Ranger button. Well, the Jets and the NFL, I think, have a screw to Jets button. I read someplace today, and I always look on things. It's been almost 2 years or over 2 years since the Jets have had a roughing the passer call go for them. It is the longest in the league. I just don't get it. But they're quick to get the flag thrown at them. Jets were up by 10. Okay, they made it they're up by 11. They made a 2-score game. About 5 minutes left. He's like, all right. Jet defense was all over Russell Wilson. Well, by the way, Russell Wilson is not a good quarterback anymore. And I'll talk about Nathaniel Hackett in just a few moments. But Russell Wilson is not a good quarterback. He can run, yes. He has an arm, yes. But his on-field presence is not what it was 5 years ago in Seattle. Or 7 years ago in Seattle. It's not there anymore. Okay? We beat up on him last year. We beat up on him this year. So they're down by 11. They have to score twice and have to get a 2-point conversion. You get 3rd and 15. He throws a pass for 20 yards. And Dak Prescott just threw a pick. It's 28-10 San Fran, third quarter. And San Fran looks like they're going to go to 5-0. And we'll talk about another 5-0 team for next week. So it extends the drive. They then add on roughing the passer call, so it gets them in there. They wind up getting a touchdown. Okay, so now they're going to go for 2. C.J. Mosley blows up the line, goes in and sacks Russell Wilson on the 2-point conversion. They call defensive holding in the end zone. They get to do the 2-point conversion from the 1, and of course they score, and now they're up by 3. Jets get the ball back again. Breece Hall, Zach, and the offense clicking. Nathaniel Hackett did not call a very conservative game, but he really wasn't Air Coryell out there either. But he had Zach in a rhythm, okay? And on a 3rd and 4, and I know 2 weeks ago I said we don't have Mark Bavaro on our team. Conklin caught a pass for a first down. I think it was 3rd and 4 or 3rd and 7. And he dragged players with him, a la Mark Bavaro. Ironically, they mentioned that to him. He was not born in 86 when Bavaro made that big play against the 49ers and dragged Ronnie Lott and most of the secondary. So he said he was going to look it up. So I can remember watching that at my cousin's house in Brooklyn on a Monday night. So, okay. A little dry today. Jets have a third down. They're in the red zone, or just outside the red zone. It is a makeable field goal. They go up by 6. It's still a touchdown game now. A field goal doesn't tie it. Then rushing down the field. They're moving the ball. They have a third down. I like the play call. Zach throws a pass down the sideline. Garrett Wilson was held on the play. You could have called defensive pass interference. You could have called defensive holding. He was held. He came back for the ball after being held, and it went through his arms. Patrick Surtain had it hit him. He bobbled it, actually caught it between his knees and held on to it. Interception. And watching this game from home, I just said, this is just a script it's been. They are going to get this lucky, and I mean, nothing against, taking away from Surtain. I mean, he held on to the ball. It was a Darrell Revis interception, if I ever saw one like that before. But I said, this is going to be the play. The kid played a decent game. The Jets were up by 2 scores with 5 minutes left, and they're going to give him the ball back. And, okay, Denver has the ball deep in their territory. He said, all right, the defense is going to come through. And they stop moving the ball 9 yards, 3 yards, then a big sack. Okay, big sack. And I'm saying sack. All right. And then on like 3rd and 15, he picks up 20 yards. And they're about 15 to 20 yards from field goal range. You got to remember, they're playing in Denver. The altitude, the light air, they say the ball carries a tremendous distance through the thin air. And it's the home field kicker, so he knows what he's got to do. He knows where he can make it. So they're saying 60 yards is an approachable, play. And, on TV they show the little red bar graphic where he has to get to. He's about 17 to 20 yards away. Russell Wilson under pressure again. Quincy Williams goes in. He forces him out of the pocket. Russell now, and I know Super Bowl champion quarterbacks, any quarterback will make mistakes. Running, keeping the ball in his hands, instead of trying to make a play downfield and maybe get out of bounds or whatever, he's looking, he rolls out. Quincy Williams strip sacks him. The ball bounces going towards the sidelines, and now I'm jumping up and down, ball. And lo and behold, Bryce Huff scoops up. I mean, the ball bounced perfectly into his hands, in stride. He carries it in, touchdown. They go up again by 10 points. There's 40-something seconds left on the clock, and they wound up winning. 31-21 was the final. You could see Sean Payton was not happy. He was yelling at Russell Wilson, and I don't think Sean Payton is a Russell Wilson fan. He inherited him. He went there, and that kind of turns into what I wanted to talk about now with Nathaniel Hackett and Russell Wilson. So back, I guess it was July 26th or so, Sean Payton made some comments, which he retracted afterwards, but basically called the Jets the champions of the offseason. They signed, of course, Aaron Rodgers and some Rodgers' players and whatnot. And they brought Nathaniel Hackett in. He was Rodgers' offensive coordinator for one of the times that Rodgers won the MVP. And basically, Sean Payton said a quarterback like Russell Wilson, with his stature and his talent and his ability, does not lose that all at once, does not go downhill that quickly. It had to be a coaching problem. Basically throwing shade to Nathaniel Hackett and the Jets. Well, as Jet fans, I mean, we all remember that, and we wanted to, watch this. But it really meant a lot to the players. And after that, Sean Payton didn't take back what he said. But it was funny because they ex Coach Saller on Friday, and he was like, that felt like it was a year ago. and it was just a few months ago. With everything that's happened between then and now, so today they were, they dubbed it Hackett Bowl or whatever you call it, and you're allowed four captains, and of course, Nathaniel Hackett was named the fourth captain of the team, and he went out to midfield for the coin toss, and then at the end, all the players went over to him after the Jets had sealed the victory, hugging him and congratulating him and high fiving him, and coaches went over to him, and they showed the locker room where Coach Sala addresses the team after the game and after the win, and he said he had one game ball. So now, game ball could have went to the defense, could have went to Brees Hall, could have went to Quincy, but they gave it to Nathaniel Hackett, and you can see that he is building a relationship there, which I think is great. In fact, right after the game, Aaron Rodgers, who I believe was up in the box in Denver, I believe he was there, tweeted out a big W and then hashtag Hackett. So this game was a big game. You won the Jets won the first game, and then they lost the last three in a game. They probably could have beat New England. New England lost today. I think it was 31-0. They've been outscored 75-3 in the last 2 weeks. They are 0-3 at home. So you could say the Jets, should have beaten them. But you know what? New England beat us. The weather, they beat us. Kansas City, you could say whatever you want. It should have been a call. Should have been a call. Bottom line is, it was a call, and the Jets, missed out on that. And I won't defend the Jets that much, because they did front Kansas City 17 points last week, and then for them to come back and then lose by 3. So the Jets needed this. They needed to go on the road. They needed to be an AFC team. They needed to win and break the streak. They needed to have a lead, and they had a lead a few times in this game. They came back a few times in this game, and if you wanted to say an ugly win is better than a pretty loss, I will take it. Zach Wilson's final stats: he was 19 of 26, 199 yards. He averaged 7.7 yards per attempt, 1 INT. Which, listen, it came at a very inopportune time, but I don't blame Wilson on that. He had a rating of 78.8. Not a Pro Bowl game, but listen, Zach managed. He did what was asked of him. He did take some shots. He did take some sacks. He also did run out of pocket and pick up some big yardage as well. Brees Hall, career day, 22 attempts, 177 yards. He averaged 8 yards a carry, 1 touchdown, and that was on a 72-yard run. Delvin Cook, he came in, he showed some glimpses of speed and power. He had 6 carries for 23 yards. He's averaged 3.8 yards. And Michael Carter had 1 carry for 8 yards. Conklin, the big receiver, 67 yards on 4 catches. That big run of 37 late in the game. Garrett Wilson, 3 for 54. Lazard, 3 for 33. Brees Hall, 3 for 17. Michael Carter, 3 for 14. Uzomah, 2 for 12, and one of those is the one that cost them the 3 points. So, what do you take from this game? It was a win. It was a win. They got their second win, second conference win. Okay. Buffalo lost. New England lost. Miami won. Miami beat the Giants. So Miami is now 4-1. Buffalo 3-2. Jets 2-3, and New England is 1-4. And of course, the one win New England has is against the Jets, but we have at least that half a game lead on them. I'm not out here proclaiming that Zach Wilson is the second coming, but in the last 2 weeks, he has shown poise, he has shown maturity, he has shown an arm. And there was a play today when he hit Conklin. He scanned the field, and it was something that the commentators pulled out, and San Francisco just pulled it away. It's 34-10 now. He had his first read. The read wasn't there. The guy was covered. He looked. His second read, Conklin broke off on the coverage, and boom, he hit him. And that's what we want to see. Um, the Jets have a heavy task ahead of them next week. They're playing the 5-0 Eagles. Uh, you know, some people in the beginning of the year said it'll be Eagles Jets in February. You know, people say now Kansas City Eagles again, like last year. Bottom line is, listen, they got the win. It came at a cost. AVT, Vera Tucker, he hurt a calf. They're going to do an MRI tomorrow. Salas said they're concerned about it. Becton was going down a little bit today. Bart Scott did say it could be the thin air up there. Listen, I'm not saying I want to see Vera Tucker, it sounds like I'm cursing, AVT, I'll call him, be injured. But if he's injured and we can get through next week, he has to bye also. So he has 2 weeks before the Jets get back into the rest of their season. Next week is a big game. I'll talk about that on Thursday or Friday. But the Jets pull out the win, 31-21. They beat Denver for the second year in a row. They were able to move the ball. The two things that stood out, I'm going to say three things, all right? First thing is the penalties. They got to stop with these penalties. The holding on third down, the illegal blocking, the roughing the passer, or the refs have to make it, an even tilt. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they have to get off the field on third down. They have to. Okay, defense is way too good to have plays and drives extended. And number three, they have to score in the red zone. And Coach Saller, I think, slipped today when he was at his post-game presser. Because he said something like 0 for 5 in the red zone with touchdowns, but we hit 5 field goals. So, or 0 for 4. And he said we could have blown that team away if we would have scored touchdowns. So you think about it. They were in the red zone 4 times. Okay? They kicked 4 field goals. If they did 2 and 2, that's 14 points compared to 6. This game is out of reach, and that last drive was not needed. They have to finish. They're not going to play teams like Denver the rest of the way. My last thought on Zach, I'm saying Chad Pennington, is his maturity, and I said that. Last week he took blame. You could see him on the sideline saying, it's my fault when he fumbled the ball. Today, on that last drive, after he threw the pick, he sat by himself on the bench. I don't think anybody wanted to bother him. I don't think it was that they were avoiding him. They didn't want to bother him. And then after they took the lead and eventually won, they went over to him. They were patting him. But in the press conference afterwards, they asked him about Breece Hall, and he said that Breece is explosive, but it starts with those guys up front on the offensive line. So he's giving credit now to where credit is due. He's doing what a leader should do in the press conference, on the sidelines. Now he needs to do that on the field. Okay? He's got to get them up to that line with 10 seconds left to spike the ball to get those 3 points on the board. You're in the red zone. Oh, they were in the red zone 5 times. Because one time they didn't score. You're in the red zone. Get them in the end zone. Okay? So that's my final thoughts on that. My picks, I didn't do too well today. I had Tennessee giving Indianapolis 2.5 points at Indy. Indy wound up winning. I had Cincinnati giving 3 points to the Cards. I took the Cards because I didn't think Cincinnati was going to keep up with them for some reason, with Burrow and all that. The Cards lost. Cincinnati beat them outright. I had Baltimore giving the Steelers 4.5. Steelers haven't been able to do anything. All of a sudden now, the Steelers are 3-2. They beat the Baltimore Ravens. The only game I got correct is the one that counts to us Jet fans. Jets getting 2.5. They went outright. And Dak Prescott just threw another pick, bounced off his receiver's hands into the defender on San Francisco. It is 35-10 in the fourth quarter. So they're going to go to 3-2. I don't know if you made the trip out to Denver. If you're flying back, have a safe flight back. It looked like there was a lot of green out there. But again, 31-21, 2-3. Let's enjoy it tonight. Let's enjoy it tomorrow. I listened to the highlights, the radio calls, and all that. And then we have a big one this weekend against the Eagles. Historically, we have never beaten the Eagles in a regular season game. So the only time we have beaten the Eagles is in the preseason. I was at an Eagle game with my father, 93. 93 and 94. I want to say it was 93. Okay, so you're talking 30 years ago. And the Jets blew a 21-0 lead, knocked Randall Cunningham out of the game, and San Francisco is going to score again, and it's 41-10. And Eric Allen returned an interception, 99 yards to seal the game. The Jets have never beaten the Eagles. This is going to be a big task. It's going to be brought up all week. Zach has been maturing. Let's see if the coach, puts more emphasis into what's going on. I like him, but right now, with the talent we have, we should not be struggling. Our weakest link right now is Zach Wilson, and he is taking these baby steps, and he's making progress. These last 2 weeks, he's made progress, and that is tremendous because last year he regressed, and up through the New England game this year he regressed. But now, maybe he took what Joe Namath said. Maybe he took everything that was said on the news and Twitter and all that, and realized, hey, let's just go out there and do it. And I'll give credit to the coaches too, but they can't come out and start playing from behind. They played from behind in every game except for today, and then they gave up points anyway and played from behind early. So have a great weekend, a great week. Have a blessed week, whatever you say. Stay healthy, stay safe. Reach out to us. Email us at thejets.takeoff@gmail. Find us on TikTok at the Jets Takeoff. Instagram, the Jets Takeoff. We are on Facebook at the Jets at the Takeoff. It's a Facebook page, and we are on Twitter at the Jets Takeoff. Of course, and again, I'm sorry, my throat is really dry today. Again, of course, you can follow us. Subscribe to our video. The Takeoff is the account on YouTube. The Jets Takeoff is the channel. We'd love to hear from you. If you went to the game, if you watched from home, are you going next week against the Eagles? And basically that's it. We are through 5 games. Okay, at the 5-game mark, I had us at 3-2. Oh, guess what? 3-2. We're at 2-3. So I had us beating Buffalo, Cowboys, and the Broncos. The loss is to the Cowboys, who tonight are not showing me anything. Or, San Fran is just too much for them. But have a great week, everybody, and talk soon.